Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect. My name is Pete and today we complete the ExoGeni Facility assignment. We are currently going through all three systems in the Maroon Sea cluster, and we did the Caspian system with the MSV Cornucopia last time, so today we're going to travel to the Vostok system. 3 points of interest here. First of all, we can grab some Matriarch's writings, then some palladium on a metallic asteroid, and last but not least, Nodacrux.
Looks like we've got an active distress beacon on the planet below, Commander. No message, just a locator signal.
And it seems like we should land here and investigate. Last time we dealt with ExoGeni on Feros, Kaidan and Drax served as well, so I see no reason not to go with them again this time. Before we get started with the exploration, we can spend 1 talent point on Rex, and of course we will continue to put that in shotguns. Then we can quickly equip the squad with anti-organic shredder rounds. And then get going, and on the minimap you might already be able to see a few red dots. Also, while we're here, let me quickly mention that Nodacrux might just be the most Mako-unfriendly planet in the entire series. More on that later, however. For now we have 2 groups of enemies on our radar, and after going over the hill here we can also see what they consist of. In typical ExoGeni fashion, we are dealing with more Thorian Creepers, and those behave exactly the same like the ones on Feros. Compared to Feros, however, this fight right here is actually pretty easy, even on Insanity difficulty, because we only have 4 Thorian Creepers against us, and we have dealt with much more on Feros, and they're also not backed up by an Asari clone with biotic abilities. And here I'll just show you something that you should probably not do, and that is using a combination of lift and throw on these guys. That just catapulted them a nice distance away, luckily for us, however, right into the other group. But this can go also wrong very badly, and then you have to chase after a bunch of scattered creepers. Let's now go back into the Mako and catch up with the rest of our enemies. Quick pit stop here to deliver a kill, and then on we go. Now the group here once again consists of 4 Thorian Creepers, add to that the 2 that we just hurled over here, and we're up against 6, still not much more of a challenge than Feros was. We can pretty quickly take care of these guys without having to use much of our abilities, and also you might have seen it when we drove in here, hitting one of the creepers with the Mako in full speed has about the same effect as the lift and throw combination. And also, if you have noticed that, the reason why the health bar is turning green is because we have equipped polonium rounds on Kaidan, just to add a bit of versatility in this fight. And here, stuck between the Mako's wheels, we have the last Thorian Creeper in the vicinity. 2 more remain, however, but they are a bit scattered. The first one is over here behind the small hill. I think he might have been hit by a shotgun blast from Rex that could have thrown him over here. At least I didn't hit him with the Mako. Now with him taken care of, only 1 more remains, and that is the one that we did hit with the Mako, and he is over here at the far end of this little camp. And with him out of the way, we have cleared both groups of Thorian Creepers, and that means we can now begin looting. There is only this small container over here that has a bit of loot in it, but there are a total of 3 locked crates inside, one of them locked behind hard decryption, usually with some very sweet loot in it, so you definitely don't want to miss out on this spot here. Also, unlocking these 3 containers gives us about 250 XP, which is not too shabby either. Now let's quickly equip Shepard with the Breaker 7 assault rifle that we collected from the last container here, because as you can see, that thing is ludicrously powerful. Off screen I also checked the equipment for the rest of the squad, but there was no need for any upgrades there. Now we can return to the Mako, hop back in, mark our next destination on the minimap, and get going again. And on our way, get a first taste of why I think Nodacrux is the absolute worst planet to drive around on. Now after a rather short ride in the Mako, we reach a gold deposit here. Let's quickly survey that and help us to a few credits and XP. Then return to the Mako and mark a destination on the minimap that is pretty far away, and let the hate for Nodacrux flow. No, seriously though, I have once read an article that basically said that one of the most criticized features of Mass Effect 1 was handling the Mako, and the author was more or less explaining that the Mako in itself is not the problem. The problem are more the surfaces of the planets, because while I agree that it might make sense to hide some of the mineral deposits, for example, in less accessible areas, some of the planets in Mass Effect are one big less accessible area, and Nodacrux definitely stands out here. Especially getting on top of this mountain pass here is just insanely annoying, and really that is not the fault of the Mako. The way I see it, and that's also what I got from the article, the main fault simply lies in level design. And for me the two most glaring issues here are 1, the lack of flat surfaces, and 2, the lack of smooth transitions between areas. Because I do not have a problem with mountains and rough terrain in general, but I do have a problem with mountains that basically rise up like a wall in front of you. And once again, I think Nodacrux is probably one of the top 3 worst planets in Mass Effect, so it's not necessarily an issue that exists on all planets, but on some it's really, really bad. Now, to reward our efforts, and the drive over here took over 4 minutes in real time, we have reached a cobalt deposit, luckily also the last mineral deposit on the planet. So let's once again loot that, then hop back into the Mako and proceed to navigate to the quest marker. That is where we will find the ExoGeni Facility, and you can already take a guess what's going on there. When we acquired the assignment in the ExoGeni Headquarters on Feros, the console entry very clearly stated that ExoGeni did not want this facility to be found. The way over to the facility isn't all that challenging, but we are once again greeted by a small welcoming party of Thorian Creepers. With these I will go with the tactic of shoot at them until they stumble and then concentrate fire on the next one. That helps keeping them at a distance and effectively allows you to pretty much solo this fight. It only works, however, if you have a bit of distance between you and the enemies to begin with. Having this distance also helps avoid the use of abilities, as we have already seen how wrong that can go. Alright, one last enemy to take down, and with him out of the picture, I would say it's time to move inside the facility. Now, the first room here has an upgrade kit in the back, and before we proceed further, we should have a look at it. Maybe it holds something of value. Alright, no substantial upgrades to the equipment we already have here. In that case, I would say let's make one more preparation and then proceed. That preparation is to equip the anti-Thorian gas grenades, as surprise surprise, we have a few more of those waiting for us. Let's go through the door here, then through the hallway, and then through the other door at the end, and then we can open fire at the first Thorian Creeper in the room to activate all of them. Now it's time for the tactical retreat into the room that we started out in, and we can wait for the creepers to run into our little choke point in the corridor. Once enough of them have assembled, we can throw them back and send them a present of our own in form of a grenade. Lovely, that just kills 6 Thorian Creepers at once. Let's throw in another one. And that killed the remaining 3. And we have now taken care of what could have been a rather lengthy fight in the matter of just a few seconds. Let us now go through the area where the creepers were waiting. There is nothing to loot in here, and our goal is the door at the far end of the room. By now you should already be familiar with the layout of this room. We have encountered this numerous times before. Now, to complete the assignment we would need to turn left, so let's turn right instead. Here we will find a room with a locked crate in the lower right corner. That gives us 2 assault rifles and the heavy armor. And then we also have 2 storage lockers at the other side of the room. The first one contains 2 snipers and the pistol, the second one a shotgun, a pistol, and 1 more sniper rifle. The Punisher 7 sniper rifle that we just acquired is substantially better than the one we have on Shepard right now, so let's equip and upgrade that. And we also just helped ourselves to a Mantis 7 heavy armor, which is also better in all aspects than the Ursa 5 that we have currently equipped. Off screen I also quickly upgraded Cadence pistol to the Brawler 8, and equipped in a nice dark army green we can now proceed and learn a bit more about the ExoGeni Facility.
Rescuers? Oh, thank God. See? I told you somebody would come to investigate that signal. My name is Dr. Ross, Chief ExoGeni Researcher at this facility. We've been trapped in this room for days. We're almost out of food and water. You got here just in time.
Now, excuse me for not escorting you out right away, but I think we have a few questions.
I need to know what's going on. Why is this place crawling with Thorian Creepers?
How do you know about the Thorian?
One could say we had a bit of an encounter with it.
I know what ExoGeni was up to. I saw what they let the Thorian do to those colonists, so I destroyed it.
Our secret's out then. No point in my lying. You already know the worst. The Creepers here were created using altered samples from the specimens on Feros. We discovered a way to turn them into docile, obedient servants. Everything was going fine until a few days ago. Then all the Creepers suddenly went berserk. Only a handful of us made it back into the safety of this room.
So any idea why the Creepers suddenly went mad?
Any idea why they turned on you?
Maybe there was still some kind of link between the Creepers and the Thorian back on Feros. The Thorian was unlike any other life form we've ever studied. I can't explain how, but maybe when it died, it somehow set off the Creepers here.
And of course you had to send a cryptic distress signal because you didn't want people to find out what was going on.
Why didn't you send a clear message asking for help? All we had was that signal from the emergency beacon.
This is a closed communications base. ExoGeni was worried about someone on the project selling secrets to a rival firm or reporting our work to the authorities. We have no direct communication with the outside, only the emergency beacon. It sends a general distress signal to the ExoGeni site on Feros. They're supposed to send a team to respond inside of 24 hours, but it sounds like they had problems of their own.
Yeah, I think one could say that ExoGeni was a bit tied up in things. And how about the rest of your team? Did anyone else survive?
Any chance some of the other people at the base might still be alive?
I doubt it. Too many Creepers out there. They never stood a chance. We're the only ones left.
Alright then, I think let's bring this to a conclusion.
I've heard all I need to.
Look, I know what we did here was wrong. I'll admit that. But it's over now. There's no sense reporting this to the authorities, right?
Now, just because I'm interested, I will hear her out. But we're basically swimming in cash, so I doubt she has an offer that can convince us.
Maybe we could work something out.
Normally ExoGeni would have my back, but it sounds like they're going to have their hands full cleaning up the mess on Feros. But I've got money. A nice little emergency fund I set up. It's yours if you let us go.
Now, refusing to take that bribe will lead to a fight no matter what. The only question that we have to answer now is, do we want Paragon or Renegade points for doing so? And well, looking at our Renegade point score, I think the choice is pretty easy.
This isn't about money. It's about justice. Blood for blood.
That's not going to happen. Open fire. Open fire!
Alright, small firefight here, but nothing we can't handle. An overload to start things out also makes an explosive container blow up, and that almost immediately kills both scientists in the room. And now we only have to deal with 2 more mercenaries. One can get a lift, which buys us a bit of time to take care of the other one, and he falls pretty quickly. And that leaves only one more, who's helplessly stuck in the corner over here. And that's it. That is the ExoGeni Facility assignment more or less completed. The only thing that we should do while we're still here is, of course, loot the place.
Clear.
There are in total 4 containers that can be looted in this room. The first one was the aid station, the second one the technician kit over here, the third one is under the bed over here, and number 4 is a malfunctioning object by the bench in the back. And with all of that safely stored in our inventory, I think it's now time to make our way back to the entrance and leave again. Alright, we're back on the surface of Nodacrux, and there are now 2 small things that we need to take care of. Well, actually 3, because first of all we obviously need to get back to the Mako. Inside we can see that we have 2 map markers to the north of the ExoGeni facility still left undiscovered, and so let's mark the first one, which is just a short drive away. We exit the Mako next to a crashed probe, so let's salvage that for an armor and a weapon upgrade. Going back into the Mako, we can drive up onto the hill here and see a herd of space cows. Just thought I'd show you that there is one more instance in the game where those play a role. Let us now mark the last location on the map, and one last time we can fast ourselves forward through the unforgiving terrain of Nodacrux. And here we are, parking the Mako next to some ancient debris. Those are always the source of Thorian insignia, and this one is no different. And with that we have done everything we can on Nodacrux. Let us now return to the Normandy. And here we are, another system completed, one more left in the Maroon Sea cluster, and we'll deal with that in the next episode. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.